Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Business Spotlight. I'm Rob Andrew, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Kayla Ente from Brighton and Hove Energy Services Co-operative. Good afternoon, Kayla.
Good afternoon, Rob. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolute pleasure. Kayla, with a name of your business like that, I think the best place to start is if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Yes. Well, I have been keen to do something about the environment since I was a kid. And it was a very long journey to get to the point in 2013 when the cooperative was formed. I'm a qualified accountant. I studied environmental management in the Netherlands. I'm a Dutch citizen, and also I was born in America. And finally, I tried to start the business in London, which was an energy services business, but it didn't really. I couldn't really get it to go. So I moved to Brighton, and all of a sudden things connected. I had the network I needed, and I was able to set up the Energy Services Cooperative in 2013. So now we have 11 members of staff, and we have about $1.5 million in investment from our members, our cooperative members, and we turn over between 500,000 and almost $1 million in a year.
Okay. And the cooperative members, how many do you have and where are they located?
We have 408 cooperative members. And these are either investors in our cooperative, or our customers become members of the cooperative, and our employees are all members.
Okay.
So I deliberately set up a cooperative so that people would understand that we're not about making a profit. We're a social enterprise. We prioritize society and environment. And then, of course, we have to make a profit in order to be financially sustainable. But it's not our top priority.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about then your business journey? What's it been like to date?
So I spent 20 years trying to get this concept going. We're quite unique in the business model. And it was also very dependent on market conditions. It wasn't until solar became more affordable in 2010, the feed-in tariff came into legislation, and that really made a big difference for our business. It made solar financially attractive. Also, a really important part of the journey was the fact that the first job we ever did was in cooperation with Brighton and Hove City Council, and they were replacing boilers across the city, and we were basically doing the social care side of it, going to visit the homes and helping people understand what it meant to have a new boiler and the thermostats and all that. And I recognized going to a lot of homes was how many people suffer in fuel poverty and are not able to pay their energy bill. And that was already in 2013. Now it's gotten significantly worse because of the cost of living crisis. And we're seeing a lot of deprivation and people who live in what could be considered unacceptable conditions, moldy, damp, and cold properties. But primarily our business is focused on the commercial sector. So our projects, we've done almost 60 projects, and they're all for the commercial sector. So we help businesses understand exactly how they can lower their energy bills and their carbon emissions by doing energy surveys. We've done over 1,000 energy surveys, And we've helped businesses, every business that actually ends up developing a project with us saves money in the end, even after. So the way our business model works is that we do all the project management. We eliminate all of that fear of the technology and that they're not going to be getting the right technology for their property. And we also provide the finance up front. So you don't have to take your business capital in order to be able to invest in improving your energy provision and lowering your energy costs. And so this was the business model already from the very beginning, because many years ago, I was working for an energy supplier in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. And I recognized that two of the biggest barriers to the uptake of renewable energy were the upfront cost, so the finance, and the lack of understanding of the technology and the fear people had of getting something that wasn't appropriate for their property, which is fair enough. It's a very highly specialized industry, and technology moves so quickly that you really do need an impartial consultant to help you through your journey. And that's exactly what we do.
And it's that unknown in terms of the cost, isn't it? So how receptive do you find businesses to your contact?
Well, fairly receptive. I think a lot of people struggle with the fact that we're a social enterprise, that we're not for profit. I wonder if they question our professionalism. However, our consultants are from highly professional backgrounds. Our technical lead is from Ricardo, for example, one of the largest engineering firms. People come to work with us because they get great satisfaction from the work. Mm-hmm. We pay them less than probably what they could get on the market, but they work for us because of the flexible working conditions and because of the satisfaction of knowing that you're doing something to help people and the environment. It's really important to the people who work for BHESCO. And the other, so I think they question our professionalism, but we have many case studies on our website that demonstrate the effectiveness of what we've done. We don't have the market penetration that I would like to have. However, it's the situation that we're in now has enabled us to grow organically and to gradually grow the business and to adapt our business model to the market and to create a service that is really useful in the community. So with every downside, there always is an advantage. And I'd like to grow a lot faster than we've grown, but there's also limitations in the availability of the appropriate staff as well. So
understood. I'm gonna, Kayla, ask you to perhaps put your business owner hat on. And I'm going to ask you then, what would you say is the single biggest lesson you've learned as a business owner?
Get behind what is motivating your customer is the most important thing. They don't always tell you. And it's important to ask the right questions to figure out exactly why they're making the decisions that they're making. It takes patience, but I just don't accept, I guess because I'm driven by my desire to have an impact, a social impact and an environmental impact, that I don't just take no for an answer. I will keep pushing, and it takes people out of their comfort zone sometimes. I'm not British, obviously, so there is some cultural difference in that. I'm not, And maybe that's what enables me to continue to pursue things that other people might let go of. But I would say finding out the reasons behind people's motivations is probably the most important driver of a business, because you're not a business without customers. And you, in order to grow your business, you've really got to win the customers. And our development times are very long. We're just winding up a project now that we've been working on for 2 years. I would say our average development time for projects is about a year, because it takes that long to get permission to connect to the grid. Sometimes we have to get planning permission, we have to negotiate contracts. All these things take time.
So you require a lot of patience, clearly.
A lot of patience. And I'm not a patient person. So it was really a learning experience for me to take myself out of that moment and to focus on the bigger picture.
Understood. Understood. And I'm interested just hearing you speak then in terms of the challenges and the market penetration, particularly you mentioned. I've got to ask you then, how do you, what tricks do you use then to make yourself heard? How do you get your message out there?
That was such a learning journey for me. In the beginning, I thought the facts and figures would sell, but actually that's not what sells. And so the journey was adapting the conversation around what the customer was looking for, and then how to meet that desire through our service. And also, another aspect of it was the customer, in many cases, is not going to take the whole package in the first go. They're going to be very cautious. And a lot of times, because we're a social enterprise and we're not in it for the profit, people don't actually trust that that's our motivation, because it's quite unusual, very unusual. And so it's a question of building that trust about what our motivators are and what we're doing as a business. And that happens over time and consistent messaging. So for us, it really is sometimes about just doing one thing. So our trajectory starts with doing an energy survey and ends with the installation of the measures that we've recommended, and then monitoring and maintaining and operating those assets over a period of time. And we're talking about sometimes a contract of 25 years. So that could be a significant barrier to people, because people don't think that long about that. But when you look at renewable generation assets, the lifetimes are 25, 30 years. So you're entering into a long-term arrangement with the customer. And even if it is not that customer, throughout the period of the contract, they have to trust that whoever takes over that building will see the benefit of those assets and just take over our agreement. I mean, it's happened already many times with us, and I can say that, but it's all about trust. It's all about believing what I'm saying is true, and not taking it personally. So I could go up in front of a community and make a presentation about what our offering is, and people naturally are skeptical about what I'm saying, because it's quite unusual within their context of how a business operates. And so they challenge that. And for me, it's really important not to see that as a personal challenge to my integrity and what I'm presenting, but looking at it more like they're just expressing their concern, and it's from their standpoint and their experience base. So understanding all of these things has helped me a lot in the business, and making the business more successful, I would say.
Okay, Kayla, I mean, that's really interesting insights, and thank you for sharing that. So really what I take from that, it comes back down to patience again, but it's very much really about building the connection and understanding what motivates your client or potential client.
Yeah, and perhaps that's lessened over time through reputation and your brand and how you build your brand and what it gets affiliated with your brand. And our brand is becoming stronger. We've been trading for 10 years now. It's not strong enough. I can tell you that. It does. We're only well known within a very small area, and we're working very hard to increase and amplify our messaging. But again, you're dealing with the same situation over and over again.
Understood. And that really leads me to the next question, actually, in terms of if you look ahead, you've been running for 10 years. If you look at the next 5 years, what do you see ahead of you? How do you see things changing?
So at first it was demonstrating the viability of our service. Now it's all about scale. Now we have a climate emergency. We've had a climate emergency for a while, but now especially in the past year, it's become very clear how urgent it is for us to take action. And so everything we do now is about demonstrating how you can scale up your activities to really start delivering change on a community level. And so we just finished our strategic plan for the next 5 years. We have 4 areas that we're focusing on, because an important part of our business was to try and leverage our revenue stream so that we're not dependent on any certain service or aspect of our service. And that also we had room to grow into areas that would cost more upfront for us to develop, that we have to take quite a bit of development risk, financial risk, in order to win these projects. And so building a business model that is robust enough to support that. And we finished that about 6 months ago. And now we're launching our projects to initiate this growth at scale, working on local area energy plans for local authorities. We're just completing our first one at a large scale, or introducing a carbon neutral communities program where we're looking at helping whole communities to become more energy efficient and generate their own power with solar. These kinds of actions that will make a difference, make more of a difference, and really amplify this message that we are empowered to make a change, and we have to work together in order to make that happen.
That's a massive amount of work, and particularly around that education piece, I imagine.
Yes, it absolutely is. It's a lot of work because it's a big change that needs to happen in people's thinking about carbon emissions. And I'm not a person who thinks it's our own individual responsibility. I think that there's only so much a person can do, that we need leadership from government to really drive forward the change that's required. But I also think that we can't wait around for that, and we've got to take action where we can.
Yeah, those of us here now have that responsibility, don't we?
Yeah, if there's initiatives that you can get involved with, really we should be doing that for our children and our children's futures.
Yeah, fully agree. Kayla, who or what inspires you at the moment?
The person who has inspired me to get to the point where I am today is Anita Roddick. I can really relate to a lot of what she did. in her lifetime. And she's a person that I greatly admired for what she created, going from a little shop in Brighton, very close to where our offices are, to what became of the Body Shop. And I'm inspired by every single person who goes out there and takes a chance and makes something happen. You know, really, it doesn't really matter what aspect of change you're working on, social or environmental change. But if you're making an impact, then you're an inspiration. And not just an inspiration to me, but probably a lot of people around you as well. And if we had all these little stars that are out there twinkling, we would create a lot of light. And I really think that all those inspiring bits of light are going to make a difference eventually. We'll make the change that we need. We're going to come to a tipping point, and it feels like it's very close.
Mm-hmm. Oh, superb response. Absolutely. Indeed, very inspiring. Let me take you back. If you were to be speaking to your 18-year-old self, when you were just, getting started, your career and the whole world was ahead of you, what one piece of advice would you give yourself, knowing what you know now?
Take it challenge by challenge. Just don't look at the whole thing that you're trying to do, because it's far too intimidating and scary. I would say just look at what you need to accomplish for that day. And then at the end of the day, think about what you want to do tomorrow and focus on that. And keep your vision really short in terms of what you're trying to create. And the other thing also, in my life, what I noticed was I didn't get what I wanted in the beginning when I was younger. And I spent many years being frustrated that I couldn't do what I really wanted to do. But then later on in life, I realized that it was all part of the education I needed to help me be successful at the place I am today. So it may have felt like a diversion at the time, but it was really useful to give me the skills that I needed to be successful today. So I would say treat everything that you are confronted with as a learning experience, and pull out the positive from everything, and that will serve you well in your life.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Kayla. Baby steps, and then use everything that you experience as a learning experience. Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Kayla, any announcements or news you'd like to share with us today?
Yeah, we're going to be issuing a bond offer. We are developing 4 schools, solar on 4 schools in Brighton and Hove, one of which will have battery storage, which will be really interesting for the kids. That school should get most of their power from the solar and the battery storage, which is also very exciting. And then we're doing a business park and a leisure center. But keep an eye open on our website. It's BHESCO.co.uk for the bond offer. It's 5% ISA bond. So from the tax break, you get 7.5%, which is a little bit more than what the inflation rate is at the moment. We try and keep the interest rates down so we can deliver as much benefit as possible to the schools and to the leisure center, which is an important feature in the community. So keep an eye out on that, and I hope to welcome you as a bond investor to our cooperative.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kayla. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for your insights as well. Really, really interesting discussion. Thank you for that. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you very much. And you. Same to you.
Thank you.